Hotel Galactic is a cozy intergalactic hotel management game set in a hand-drawn world which reminds me of Ghibli movies. This game was released into early access last July 2025 and it admittedly got a rough start, getting a mixed review on Steam during its first week. After 1 year and a lot of bug fixes, does this game deserve a second look? Let's find out. When you start a new save file, you get two options: Story Mode and Sandbox Mode. Sandbox will let you build your dream hotel freely, choosing your starting staff, hotel name, and shaping every detail without any story constraints. However, this feature is currently unavailable and is only going to be accessible during the game's full release. You will choose from different characters while creating a save file, but you won't really take on a physical form. Instead, you play as a spirit guiding the island from sort of a 2.5-dimensional view, and you interact with characters and workers by assigning them tasks. And you can even drag and drop them to different locations to speed things along. The story follows your character as this pilgrim who's been drawn to Emoshima Island, a place that used to have Hotel Galactic operating on it. And it's up to you to help rebuild this fallen establishment. Here, you will immediately meet 4 key NPCs, each with their own story and personality, who will be your hotel's first workers. The graphics are simply gorgeous, from the world to the characters and all the tiny details. I think it fits the cozy game genre really well. By the way, the developers have confirmed that this game is a product of actual human passion and no AI was used during its development. Once the intro wraps up, the game teaches you the basics through a series of tasks. You will learn how to drag and drop workers, assign tasks by clicking on items and letting your workers automatically handle it, flag certain tasks as more urgent so your workers deal with them first, and use the construction table to build modular rooms for your hotel. This is also where you get your first taste of the game's dialogue choice system. Early on, you are asked what tone you want your hotel to have, and your answer actually shapes small details like the color of your doorway and what your lobby looks like. It is a nice touch that makes the story interactive. Eventually, you will be able to reopen the hotel and start accepting guests. In order to keep the hotel running and gradually improve your services, here are some of the tasks that you will have to do. Construction and crafting are two of the biggest things you will have to focus on. You need to construct additional rooms to expand your hotel, and you need to craft the furniture and decoration you will put in those rooms. Using the construction platform, you hold left-click and drag to define room sizes, then release to confirm. You're not just building guest rooms either. You'll eventually construct a dining room, restrooms, bathrooms, and more as the story progresses. Each type of room will have a minimum and maximum required size, and you can decide how big or small you want each room to be. From the crafting station, you can assign workers to build furniture and functional items like beds, chairs, rugs, and toilets. The items you can craft will increase as you advance in the game, but thankfully there are several ways to filter these items, and there's even a search function, so you can easily navigate through all of it. As you advance in the game, you will also be able to dye the furniture to truly make each room unique if you'd prefer. Both construction and crafting use materials that you can either gather from your island or buy from a traveling merchant. Your workers will need tools like a pickaxe, axe, and sickle to gather some of these materials. You can craft these tools yourself and you will need to assign them to specific workers so they'll be able to use it. Each worker will have a higher affinity for certain tasks, and you can assign them the tools that will match their skills so they can be more efficient. After they do the tasks like chopping down trees or mining ores, they automatically store what they collect. Most of your hotel guests will stay for more than one night, so it's important to serve them food as well, and I really like the cooking mechanic in this game. You are the one who is going to build the menu for your hotel restaurant, and you do this by picking up the ingredients and dragging them into different kitchen appliances like the chopping board or the cauldron. You can combine up to 3 ingredients per dish, plate it, save it as a recipe, and add it to the menu. You can even rename your dishes and set custom prices. Once guests arrive, they'll order from your menu, and your chef will follow the recipe you created. You can be creative with the dishes you make here. especially once you've unlocked more kitchen appliances. You can simply chop down some fruit and plate it, which will reduce the cooking time by a lot. Or you can chop down the ingredients first before boiling them to increase the default value of the dish. Again, you can still edit the prices automatically set by the game if you want to earn more money. The ingredients used for these dishes can be bought from the merchant, and later on in the game, you will also be able to grow this yourself by farming. The number of guests you will be able to accept is, of course, limited by how many rooms and beds you've actually constructed. Guests also have needs beyond just a bed. They get hungry, they need restrooms, and they will complain if their room feels too bare. You'll also need to wash and change linens after every guest check out using the laundry room. Eventually, your workers will have too many tasks queued, from gathering materials, constructing more rooms, cleaning up after the guests, serving food, and keeping your guests happy. Thankfully, you can also hire more workers with different skill specialties like service, cooking, gathering, and housekeeping, so you can build a team that matches your hotel's needs. Then, there's the research facility, which uses happiness particles or colored goo gathered from keeping different types of guests happy. This goo powers a research tree that includes upgrades, new items, and additional game mechanics related to crafting, decor, hotel, and staff. If managing everything feels a little overwhelming or you feel that you want to do some major renovations, you can always close the hotel and stop new guests from coming in. I personally find the progression in this game very satisfying, and I'm always left with something to do and discover. The story also continues to unfold as you play, breaking the monotony of managing your hotel from time to time, and even introducing new game mechanics like farming, which will keep you on your toes. Watching guests interact is also really charming, seeing them use the objects I've placed, visit each other's rooms, or react with different moods based on their experience made the hotel feel alive. I also really enjoy the art style of this game. I haven't encountered any game-breaking bugs or issues during my first 10 hours of playing, unlike the experience of the people who played this game during its initial release, and I'm very happy that the developers have continued polishing their game. Plus, you can set the time interval for automatic saving, and there's also manual saving option at any time, which gives me peace of mind while playing. Of course, there are still rooms for improvement, and my biggest gripe with the game right now is not being able to place objects on top of others. For example, I can't put a flower table lamp on top of a table. This feels really restrictive, and I hope that they will enable this feature sometime soon. There are also some quests that can be a little clearer. For example, I had a quest where I needed to unpack an item called Hero Totem, and the arrow was pointing somewhere in my backyard. I initially thought it was a bug since I couldn't see any crate to unpack in that area. However, I figured out that I needed to actually craft the Hero Totem in my crafting station first before unpacking it outside. Some people might think they encountered a progression blocking bug if they encounter this. I also would appreciate more item descriptions from the crafting station. For instance, we have different types of storage in the game, and initially we have the crude storage, and then we unlock the reinforced storage. Because there are no item descriptions at all, I thought that the other one will just not break easily, but after finally crafting one after ignoring it for several days, I found out that this reinforced storage can actually hold more items, which is very convenient. Since the game is still in early access, I'm hoping these things can be improved before the game launches into its full release. However, as of now, I can confidently say that this game deserves a second look if you got discouraged from its initial negative reviews. Right now, the game is only available on Steam, but console versions for PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch are planned for the future. If you enjoy management sims with narrative depth and gorgeous graphics and don't mind playing an early access game, Hotel Galactic is worth checking out. There's already about 30 hours of content and playtime available in the game's current state, and I haven't encountered any game-breaking bugs. The version I played in the last week is definitely different from the one that got mixed reviews on Steam. It seems that a lot of people also agree with me since the game now sits at a mostly positive overall score and a very positive rating from the recent reviews. The latest update just added new areas, new features, a bunch of QOL improvements, and more, so now would be the perfect time to jump into it. If you're still on the fence, I'd say give the demo a shot. There's one available on Steam right now. And I do have extra copies of the game for a giveaway, courtesy of the developers, and to enter, simply join my Discord server link below and look at the announcements. Let me know what you think if you've played it yourself, and if you are planning to play the game, check out this next video for some beginner tips.